So this is an introduction to Project One for my WAC 101 course. So there are a couple pieces to this, and I want and since students sometimes get these confused and aren't sure how they kind of fit together, I want to make sure this is clear. So Project One is it's connected to, what do I call it? It's where writing finds you, or where writing finds me, right? And so what you're ultimately going to be doing with Project One is you're going to write a descriptive analysis focusing on instances where language or writing find you in your everyday life. So there's a little bit of this becoming more aware of the things around me. Where does writing show up? Is it my novel that I'm reading right now that I think is really cool? Is it, on dice because they're numbers, but they communicate and that's language? Is it random things like this, like products I use? And this one says twistable and it has fancy colors. And I could talk about that because I think that's writing that's cool. Is it this random petroglyph that my daughters or wife created, as part of a cultural thing, and like the symbols have meaning and that kind of thing? All of these could be examples of writing that you choose to focus on because they're meaningful for you. So where writing finds me is you beginning to warm up into the writing process, thinking ultimately with an essay that's descriptive and analytical. But there's also a first step, and so don't get hung up here. But there's a first step that is just data gathering, and that's where I have you create a collage. First, by taking a variety of pictures of examples of writing in your everyday life, and I give you a series of bullet points and lists. Could be your favorite hat or t-shirt with its logo, could be a menu from a restaurant you went on a date, could be street signs. Don't take pictures of them while driving. Stop, pull over, then take click, and then all that fun stuff. The warning on your car visor, nutrition labels, whatever it is that you think is writing or counts as language. If you're going to a carniceria, or if you're at like one of the Asian markets and you're like, here, look at my Korean noodles or whatever, and it's got Korean on it, like that'd be really cool. But your goal here, so it's multiple steps. The first step is the collage, and I think I usually break that up into two drafts. Sometimes I don't, but usually it's the first step is create a Google folder for the class, put the images that you take with your phone out into that folder, as a place to begin and say, here, it's like an idea generating first step. It's a brainstorming with pictures. That's what we're doing. That's why collages are cool. So the instructions are there, but that's the purpose of them. So you go out, you find any example of writing or language. You don't have to overthink it. It's meant to be easy. It's meant to be a nice warm up where we use our phones to go and catalog language and writing in our everyday life. Right? So then we get however many pictures. I think for this first draft, I ask for at least 15. And then we follow instructions. We can do close-ups, zoom outs, however you want to do it, of a couple different products. Sometimes knowing the location can be helpful, if you've got certain types of projects in certain areas around your house. Maybe there's something meaningful or analytical there. Maybe not. You get to decide that. That's on you to figure out if it's meaningful or not. And then you go and write about it. So we do the collage by starting with a bunch of pictures. Then when we go to, after we get the pictures, the final collage asks, I think usually for something like 20 to 30 or 25 to 35 total pictures. And collages are traditionally, as a genre, as a common form of writing, they are usually all on one big poster. And I'm going to have you all use Google Slides. You're going to create one slide with all the pictures on it. So remember, you can resize them and you can turn them and use image options to move them around and overlap them, like any collage you might have done in like 5th or 6th grade with like pictures from magazines that you cut out. You can do the same kind of things in Google Slides. And part of the purpose for that first is to get you warmed up into using different technologies to represent the writing in your everyday life, and also just this new alternate way of kind of clustering or chunking ideas, so or concepts. So you take 20 to 30 pictures or whatever the assignment asks for. You put them all into the Google folder, and then in the Google Slides project. You on one slide, you bring all these pictures together. You move them around so that to you they make sense. You take a moment and you cluster them. You may even add a label or two to say this was in my kitchen, or these are examples of different languages that I experienced this week. And so here's a piece of Spanish, La Taqueria or whatever, or Los Favoritos Taco Shop. Gotta love it. Whatever it is, that's one category. And then here's all my, ingredients lists, or here's different recipes I cooked this week, or here are the things from my car. And it's like your mileage and your tire rim and your warning labels, or how much AC refrigerant is required, that little sticker under your hood. Any of those could be legitimate, and you decide how they fit together. Then for the essay, I'll go back to this assignment. So then for the essay, we move from the collage and we say, okay, we're going to write 700 to 1,000 words, or whatever the assignment asks for. I change it sometimes in APA format. I use images. You already have the images because you took them for your collage. And we go, let me pick just 1, 2, 3, not many, just a couple of those examples. Ones that I thought were most interesting or most intriguing, or could be most fun to tell why that counts as writing, and analyze based on what we're learning in class and the 8 aspects of writing. What type of language, what type of writing? Is this aesthetic? Is it rhetorical? Is it trying to convince me of something? If it's a billboard, what's it trying to convince me of? If it's a product label, is there visual design? So any of that stuff, anything we learn in class, is there structure to it? Whatever you can think of, just start putting those ideas down, and then you're going to transform that into an essay that has kind of a main focus of, here are some meaningful examples of writing in my life with this kind of focus. Based on your collage, you could choose just one section of your collage, maybe all you need, and you just pick your favorite part of your collage. So that's kind of the basics of this project. And if you get stuck along the way, you can always ask for help. You can always message me or your instructor, whoever's using this project, because I do have other friends, other colleagues who use this. You can always ask for help, for guidance. You can go to a Writing Center tutor, but don't stay stuck. It's meant to be a warm-up project, low stakes. Let's get you moving on the writing path and develop greater awareness of how writing and language show up in your everyday life, and try and practice using some of the language and the lenses and writing concepts that we're studying in class. That's it. Nothing too crazy, unless you think 700 to 1,000 words is crazy, and then I understand. But by the end of the semester, by the end of the course, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised if you follow some of the things that we cover in this class well. So try not to let it stress you out. Just take it a piece at a time. There are multiple drafts for a reason. There are multiple steps and different ways of engaging for a reason. And all of these are based on things to help you succeed. And remember, that's our goal as teachers. We are here to support your success. We're here to help you grow. That's our number one job. If you learn, if you grow, help you deal with the stress of writing or the stress of engaging with this project, that's what we're here for. So don't be afraid to ask for help. It makes it makes teachers feel better about the work they're doing if students are asking for help when they're struggling, as opposed to just not knowing and then suddenly a student's just not submitting stuff and we have to go figure out why. So hang in there. Don't get overwhelmed by the project. Just take it a piece at a time. It'll be fun, I hope.